This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, a southern shear milker says the government didn't consult with farmers ahead of its new clean water plan. We have a look at some of those receiving accolades at yesterday's ODT Class Act Awards. And the future of a 20-year-old rural safety program in Waimakariri schools is under threat if funding can't be found. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Daryl Baser. Speaking in Dunedin yesterday, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced the government's plans for improving New Zealand's water quality. Federated farmers accused the government of throwing farmers under the tractor, which irritated farmers at an event in Dunedin today. A literal meat market. Farmers' mental health awareness group Ag Proud and meat producer Silver Fern Farms held an event in the Octagon giving away free food.
Yeah, so we started to learn about Ag Proud a couple of weeks ago when it all sort of hit the media. And, basically, we live and work in the same communities they do. They're great suppliers and, suppliers of product into our business. So we just want to support them. So this is all about the farmers and celebrating all the cool things they do out there.
Along with beef on the plate and best barbecuing techniques, the main topic of conversation was the government's water plan announced in Dunedin yesterday. One of the recommendations in the government's proposed water plan is fencing waterways at 5 metres to prevent livestock fouling streams.
We campaigned on making sure that our rivers are swimmable again. This plan stops the degradation we've been seeing and looks over the course of a generation to restore our waterways so that they're swimmable again.
Ag Proud co-founder Jason Herrick is a share milker of 1,000 cows on 374 hectares in northern Southland and believes fencing to 5 metres will hugely impact their operation.
5 metres either side of the creeks would lose about 30 hectares off our farm. We have a lot of waterways on our farm, which is quite significant. So on our lower stocking rate of 2.6 cows per hectare, we're still going to lose 70 to 80 odd cows off our milking platform.
At yesterday's announcement, the PM took issue with federated farmers, saying the government was throwing farmers under the tractor.
That sits in direct contrast from conversations I've had with other members of our rural community and sector. So I don't think that everyone is of the same view of federated farmers.
However, Jason Herrick doesn't believe either government ministers or their staff got their city shoes dirty, speaking to those at a grassroots level.
They haven't spoken to farmers. They speak to, so-called professionals who think they know it all. Tell them to come out and work in our shoes and do what we do on a daily basis, and then they can call themselves professionals, in my opinion.
Herrick says the streams on his property have kaura, eels and native fish in them, which wouldn't be there if the streams were dirty, and he's also got a 5-year riparian planting plan to further improve water quality. In Dunedin, The South Today. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern spoke words of encouragement to 57 of Otago's best and brightest secondary school pupils, their proud parents and teachers yesterday. Ardern was speaking at the Otago Day Times Class Act Awards ceremony, which is now in its 20th year.
But just as much as we need you all to have a desire and a motivation to succeed, we also need you to never fear failure, to never seek or expect to be perfect, to be without compromise, you. And you are what we are here to celebrate today. You're recipients because your school nominated you. They recognised your involvement and performance in a range of areas, academic, sporting, social and cultural, and that is an honour to be proud of.
It's now an annual tradition to have the country's Prime Minister give a speech and help hand out awards at the ODT's Class Act event. The occasion celebrates excellence in cultural, academic and sporting fields for the pupils from 29 Otago schools. This year the event was held at the Dunedin Public Art Gallery, with each award recipient set to receive a 1-year scholarship to the University of Otago worth at least $6,000. ODT editor Barry Stewart says the paper is proud of the Class Act initiative. More than 1,000 pupils have graduated through the program, with many of those attending yesterday not even born when it all began. 3 drones were spotted flying over and around Oamaru Airport last week. The New Zealand Air Academy is concerned and staff fear the practice could be potentially deadly.
Oamaru Airport, a great spot for flying aeroplanes, but not drones. New Zealand Air Academy Chief Flight Instructor Seroy Mascarenhas says he was flying near Timaru recently when he was contacted by a flying instructor about drones in the air near Oamaru Airport.
He informed me that he had seen 3 drones flying around over here as well, and so he decided to land and wait and assess the situation as it unfolded. By the time I got back over here, which was about 15 minutes later after he landed, there were no drones in the vicinity. I guess they ran out of battery life, and then we carried on flying through the night.
While there are many circumstances where drone flying is legal, such as this authorised drone being used to inspect rooftops on Oamaru buildings, Mascarenhas says flying drones near an airport is very dangerous for several reasons.
Well, there's 2 risks involved, of course. One, the potential for a drone to collide with an aeroplane.
The second risk is someone wanting to shoot down a drone might shoot down a plane by mistake.
If someone identifies our aeroplane as a drone incorrectly, purely because of how quiet these aeroplanes are, and if they're at a certain distance at the right angle, someone might think that one of our aeroplanes is a drone as well. So that's the second risk. And if they decide to bring down the drone, which is our aeroplane.
Mascarenhas says he informed the Oamaru Airport Safety Users Group immediately, and he was informing the CAA about the incident as well. In Oamaru, the South Today.
Protesters made their voices heard outside Dunedin's Ravensdown plant yesterday. They're objecting to a ship unloading phosphate, which they say has been stolen from Western Sahara. A transport truck was briefly stopped by a small blockade of anti-phosphate protesters. After police arrived, the demonstrators moved up to the main road and the truck was free to leave. The protesters are opposed to the Amoy Dream, a ship carrying fertiliser from a disputed territory in Africa, which Morocco is accused of illegally occupying. Ravensdown says all funds from the phosphate mine are invested in local programs to benefit local people. Down the Back Paddock is a rural safety program run by the Waimakariri District Council and local schools. The future of the successful rural safety program is in doubt unless new backers can be found. The Ministry of Health funded Down the Back Paddock program has been run by the Waimakariri District Council for around 20 years, but the funding has stopped.
It's really good. We have been funded up till just recently by the Ministry of Health, but unfortunately that funding's now ceased.
With the Council's strong rural heritage, the program is unique to North Canterbury, and the Council's Rural Safety Coordinator Kerry Miles says they're hunting for potential sponsors.
Hopefully that will be forthcoming, but at the moment we've got enough funds for another year, then beyond that we just have to work out what we're actually going to do.
Miles says rural safety is a key area of focus for the Council, with experts delivering safety messages on a variety of subjects over 11 20-minute sessions at Fernside School near Rangiora.
Very important. We've got Main Power doing a presentation on electricity, which is a relatively new one, but they do a fantastic job.
He says the Down the Back Paddock education program aims to increase children's and teachers' awareness of the risks associated with a rural environment. In North Canterbury, the South Today. And still to come on the South Today, an end may be in sight for Dunedin School's financial issues, and we meet another hopeful in the race for Dunedin's mayoralty. See you after the break.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy one pair, save $25. Buy two, save $60, and we've a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all, 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Nā mai anō, welcome back. A report has found Carisbrook School's redirection of almost $30,000 in government funding for overseas trips should not have happened. The Ministry of Education has investigated the 3-year period from 2016 where ministry funding for a study support centre was instead used for an international cultural exchange programme. Acting on the report, the school has established a new Finance and Audit Subcommittee. The school's funding and related reporting is also being reviewed. The Ministry of Education is not requiring the Dunedin School to repay any of the money. With Dunedin's Mayor Dave Cull stepping down after serving the city for 3 terms, 14 hopefuls are vying to be elected for the role. In tonight's bulletin, Otago Access Radio host Ian Telfer interviews candidate Christine Geary as to why she wants to be the mayor and wear the chains of office.
A 1-term city councillor, but before that a Otago Peninsula champion and a businesswoman among other things, Christine Geary. Welcome, Christine.
Kia ora, Ian.
What are the big issues this campaign?
So there's a number of them. The first one is we need to strengthen our communities because communities do so much better when they're connected for people's wellbeing and in the face of emergencies and natural disasters. We need to manage the growth because we do have growing pains. So this is the first amount of growth. We've gone from a low growth city to a medium growth city in a very short amount of time. And it's the biggest growth apart from a couple of blips after the World Wars. So this is a pretty incredible factor. So we've got to manage that growth and we do have growing pains. The housing issues are big. The housing stock, the quality of the housing stock, availability and affordability, those are really important for the wellbeing of our people. And transport issues. We don't have control over the buses, but the bus system and fixing that is really key to us getting an integrated transport system. It's the point for that.
Is the council already, it seems like there's some plans for most of those things at least. Is the council on the right track with all of that?
Absolutely, and it's one thing I'm very proud of, being part of this training, because we have made extraordinary progress. Let me just give you an example. Last week we made a decision around a navigator position. Now, I've had a long-held view that one of the obstacles to us releasing land in our community is around how difficult it is to subdivide, particularly for mum and pop subdividers, people developers who maybe have a wee bit of one section to subdivide off. And for the developers who are full-time at it, they've made this comment that it's difficult to navigate the pathway through council. So we have just made a decision to appoint someone into that role in the next 2 weeks. That'll be advertised, and I'm delighted about that.
To do what?
To help people navigate council processes.
And what does that mean? Does that mean to take them through and explain how it works?
To take them through it, yeah. To take them through it, to walk them through it, because when you're doing a subdivision, it's very complex matter.
Right.
And so that's just one small example.
Will one person do the job though? Or will you need an army of them?
Yeah, no, I think one person will do the job really well. But when you think of the larger issues around climate change, because climate change is the biggest issue we are facing, and Bob's right, it is, you've got to see it in context. It's so much bigger issue than just South Dunedin or Dunedin. But I am very heartened by what we have recently done, and that is to put $1 million over 2 years to get action in place in our work program. And that's only the start. We really have no idea at this point of the disruption that is ahead of us. But I have a belief that if we all are in the same waka and we're all travelling together, then we can address this. And we've got some very smart people around the table, some very smart staff. I'd love to see some young people on council this time, because those are the ones who have so much at stake.
Lee has said debt is a big deal still. Bob has said affordability is a big issue, and you haven't mentioned money issues at all.
Right,
so
let me talk about
what do you
that.
think about that?
Let me talk about that. So we are expected as a council to have debt. That's the basic thing. And I find the amounts we talk about are eye-watering to the general public.
Absolutely. Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Absolutely.
Hard to imagine.
And for somebody on a low or limited income, that is very difficult to hear. But what I find very helpful is when we think about it in terms of our assets. So here's the thing. If we were to sell all our assets, we would pay off our debt and we'd have some millions of dollars over. That gives me confidence that we are on the right path.
And we'll bring you more interviews with the various candidates over the next 5 weeks. You can also watch the full 45-minute interview at odt.co.nz. After the break on the South Today, cruise ships visiting Oamaru are still a way off, and we'll have a look at the weather for the weekend. Catch you after the break.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chill.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. For a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Welcome back. It might be up to 3 years before any small-scale cruise ships anchor off Oamaru Harbour and ferry passengers ashore. That's according to Waitaki Mayor Gary Kircher, who's been in talks with the District Council and boutique cruise ship operators. He says a lot of work still needs to be done before the ships either anchor near the harbour or, less likely, into the harbour itself. While the idea isn't in the Council's 30-year draft plan, it could be added before the plan is adopted later this year. The growth in the cruise ship industry could mean companies seeking alternative destinations such as Oamaru, but Kircher says if the plan does go ahead, it'll take 2 or 3 years to bed in. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A southern share milker says the government didn't consult with farmers ahead of its new clean water plan announced in Dunedin yesterday. The faces of the future, some of those receiving accolades at yesterday's ODT Class Act Awards in the Dunedin Public Art Gallery. And the future of a 20-year-old rural safety program in Waimakariri schools is under threat if funding can't be found. Time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Mr. Philip Somerville.
Yes, hi Darryl. Here's Dean Hall, Rocket Works, the game developer. A really interesting story. Big story on the business page, small one on the front page at the moment. That's the plan. On the expansion plans to Auckland and in due course Los Angeles. And thinking big and growing fast.
Wow.
I like this story. Lovely crowd of kids from Big Rock School in Brighton. There with the Ranfurly Shield. It's on the line this weekend at Forsyth Bar Stadium against Taranaki, I think. So Otago will be up against it, trying to hold it. So we shall wait and see how that goes.
Many hands on for good luck.
Many hands indeed. Sad story from the court in Christchurch. It was shifted up from Dunedin. David Charteris, former Southern head of victim support, was jailed for 14 years for repeated sexual abuse of a boy. That was before he was in this position, but that's... Some better news from Queenstown Lakes area with $27 million for expansions of schools up there and a new Hanley Park school going ahead. So, and of course tomorrow's Mix Day, the Mix Travel, an intriguing story. It was about running around the world, but the feature was on running a marathon and a 10k race that woman competed in of all places, Afghanistan.
Wow.
So look for
cool.
that. Yes, indeed.
Cool. Thank you, Philip. All that and more in tomorrow's ADT. Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with today's southern view, some of the early punters set to enjoy a free feed in the Yotkin today. Looking at the situation, a mostly dry if rather cloudy weekend in store, but very cold temperatures for this time of the year. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect a fine day and 14 degrees. Across to the northeast, where Nelson and Blenheim are due for a cloudy day and 14 degrees. Heading down to Canterbury, where it's a bit cloudy across this region, Kaikoura and Christchurch you're aiming for 10, while Ashburton you head for 11 degrees. Looking at the southern towns, expect moderate southwesterlies and a risk of showers across the region. The Catlins aims for 9 degrees, while Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore should all reach 8. Travelling westward to central Otago, you should plan for light winds and cloudy skies, with showers for some. Queenstown and Wanaka can expect 7 degrees, while Alexandra and Tiano you're both heading for a top temperature of 8. Looking at the northern towns, along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru, you can expect light winds and cloudy skies, 9 for Timaru and 8 in Oamaru. Further inland, Twizel and Omarama are set for light winds and some cloud, 8 degrees for you both. In Dunedin, cloudy tonight with southwest winds and an overnight low of 5, mostly cloudy and dry tomorrow, still cold with moderate southwesterlies and a high of 8, with a low of 6. Some showers early Sunday, then dry but cloudy for the rest of the day, a high of 7 and a low of 4. And finally, moving to Invercargill. Cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 3, cloudy and cold tomorrow with light southwesterly winds and wintry showers in the evening, a high of 9 and a low of 4. Cloud breaking and sunny periods increasing on Sunday, with moderate very cold southeast winds dying out, a high of 8 and a low of 0. And that's all from the South Today team for this Friday, and in fact for the week. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening, a safe and happy weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.